Joyful blessings. This is Kaylin Castell, and I'm very excited to share with you about the first Virgo new moon of two Virgo new moons because there's one August 22nd, 2025, and then there'll be a second one on September 21st, 2025. This video is going to focus on the first one, and I'll do another video on the second one coming up. But Virgo is an archetypal energy that focuses on the perspective that all life is sacred. And this new moon, as you can see, here's the head of the lion constellation, and 0 degrees Virgo is and 10 minutes is where the star Regulus is, and the sun and the moon are going to be on this star, and we're going to see more about that in a moment, but it's also going to occult this star. So it's a very exciting, the possibilities that are uh, present with the first of the two Virgo full moons, and then the second Virgo full moon is going to be a partial solar eclipse. That's got its own high magic associated with it. Yeah, so here we go. This is what we're looking at. And so let's just first just tune into the archetypal essence of Virgo. And we're looking at the pure, healthy archetypal essence of Virgo because, of course, all of the signs have a pure essence and they also have a shadow side. But we want to focus our attention on how we're bringing through that pure essence. And if we think about this archetypal energy, it really is representative of the priest, priestess, uh, the ones who are holding the sacred intent and space. We could say holding the sacred space for the evolution and for the return to a way of being in a more honoring of life a sacred place. Virgo really is here to remind us the importance of honoring all life as sacred, working intentionally with cycles and seasons through living ceremony. And I say living ceremony, not the rituals or the practices that have maybe been done for thousands of years. Not that those aren't great, but how do we stay alive with the energy in the moment? How do we tune in and feel ourselves being guided by the energy of the moment to really honor the sacredness of what's happening and not to just do something that's always been done. So however it works for you and whatever you feel inspired by, doing that deeper listening and that deeper dive into when we have that sacred relationship with life, with the cycles and seasons, with each other, then we are able to co-create with the planetary energies and the cosmic energies that are happening, which is basically being attuned to the pattern of life and being in alignment with the highest expression of that pattern. What most fulfills Virgo then is discovering and acting to fulfill a sacred work, a sacred offering, a sacred expression. And this is designed to serve Great Spirit or the greater cosmic energy or the greater universal energy uh, within the sacred patterning of life. And here on planet Earth, we have a specific experience of the pattern of life. And we're going to look at Spiderwoman in a moment because this is an archetypal energy that is very connected to the Virgo mysteries. So, when healthy, Virgo is not about material gain, but rather about a deep reverence for the sacred within and all around us, the sacred pattern that makes up the web of life. And if something gets out of balance in that web, then it's Virgo's job to go in and help reweave it back into balance, maybe even a better balance than what it was before. So recognizing when the pattern is out of balance and working ceremonially to reweave and restore the sacred web of life and essentially even renew it into something even better. And attending to the body temple through diet, exercise, spiritual practices that are aligned with the sacred pattern within us, because we all have that within us, helps us to be also aligned with the patterning that is outside of us. And so then the ways to honor the earth, to honor the experience of being having life in this realm and dimension at this time. And so working with intuition and knowingness and going beyond what we think it is that it has been in the past to something new and different. So this is the essence of the Virgo archetype. Also restoring sacred reverence for the living earth in harmony with all life, which I've already mentioned. Here's the spider web. And when spider weaves her web in the right place, everything she needs comes to her. She does not have to go hunt. She does not have to uh, but it has to be in the right place. It has to be with the right intention, with the best energy. So restoring the sacred pattern in our sacred relationship with the natural cycles and seasons through living ceremony is one way to do this. And I have found that you can create a spider web, like draw, out lines and then hook them up like a spider web and put intentions into that spider web, and that can be part of the ceremonial work that you do with any Virgo energy, but especially these upcoming Virgo new moons. So when we recognize the importance of Spiderwoman weaving and reweaving the web of creation, creating new living ceremonies that honor and celebrate the evolving pattern. So when it's reweaving in a new way that's going to really serve and maybe reweaving in a new place, it's really going to serve so that everything we need comes to us. That's really the intent of having a connection to the web of life. And so here's a little bit more about this new moon. And again, you see that the moon and the sun are with Regulus in the lion. We see the chart. They're at 0 degrees Virgo at 23 minutes, and Regulus is at 0 degrees Virgo in 10 minutes. So it's very precise. And in fact, the moon is literally going to occult Regulus. Of course, we won't see it because the sun is also there, but it's going to magnify and amplify the energy of this new moon in ways that are just amazing. So Regulus is considered the heart of the lion. It was one of the four royal stars of Persia and other ancient cultures. The name Regulus actually means little king. It's a Latin word for little king. And as the heart star of the lion, we could imagine an amplification of our heart energy that some say is the gateway to the Hall of Records, that Regulus in the sky represents the gateway to the Hall of Records here on Earth. And so that's being occulted, that's being magnified and amplified during this new moon. And so perhaps part of the ceremonial intent could be to access the Hall of Records in ways that can help us to evolve and grow and to align with the rebalancing of the web of life at this time. And so I like to think of this star is reminding us of the most magnificent, sacred, and magnificent power of love to transform ourselves and our world. So the heart energy, that's the heart of the lion. And so how are we tuning into the heart energy to help us to do that and to have this massive transmission that's taking place around this new moon is spectacular. And, with an occultation over this star, this doesn't happen all that often. There are series of occultations that take place, and we are in a time of the occultations happening now over Regulus. And but again, this one won't be seen because the sun is with Regulus, and so it's right there. Anyway, I think the first one that might be visible will be in October. So I'll share more about that in the future on a future video. But here we can see here's Jupiter at 16 Cancer, still very close to Sirius, being in alignment with Sirius, and it's in the constellation of the Twins. We have uh, Venus in Cancer at 27 degrees, just outside of well, actually the sacred hoop. I could have talked about that a little bit more, but I have in past videos how the sacred hoop of stars is represented by Castor and Pollux, and then there's Procyon that would be further down here, and so Venus has just moved past that. at this time of the full moon. And actually, the Venus moon conjunction is with that star Procyon a day or two before the actual new moon. So that's pretty spectacular. We have Mercury at 12 degrees Leo in the constellation of the Crab. And of course, the moon in Virgo in the constellation of the Lion, and Mars at 10 Libra here is in the constellation of the Priestess. And and again, I'm using the names of the constellations and a different name for the seasonal signs because Libra is mostly overlaying the Priestess, Virgo is mostly overlaying the Lion, Leo is mostly overlaying the Crab, Gemini is mostly, I mean, not Cancer is mostly overlaying the Twins. And so we can see that if we use the seasonal sign names for the constellations, it gets very confusing. So I'm using a different name for them. Now, we really have this amazing uh, eclipse cauldron too, where the second Virgo new moon is going to happen on September 21st. And I'll again share more about that in future videos. So stay tuned. Pretty amazing. Now, this is just a way to see how the moon comes to this is Regulus. This is an occultation that was photographed in July 17th of 20, I mean, July 25th of 2017. And you can see the moon approaching Regulus. It's starting to hide Regulus, and then it completely hides Regulus. And then sometime later, the moon moves past Regulus and Regulus reappears. So that's what an occultation, very similar to an eclipse, is all about. And again, this one won't be visible because the sun is with the sun and you can't see the planets or the stars when they're with the sun. But this um, covering and uncovering, we could say the moon is a transmitter, and when it is occulting a star or a planet, it is directly transmitting the mysteries, the energies, the insights, the codes, the star codes, the light codes from that particular planet or star. And so again, why the magnification at this new moon. And because Regulus is the royal heart star, it was also one of the magical stars of the ancient alchemists. And they felt like whenever a planet was near one of these stars within 6 degrees, that it was the time to make amulets, potions, elixirs, do ceremony, to create intentions. So we have a new moon time, which is a time for that anyway. And then we add in the fact that it's connected to Regulus and it's amplifying that energy. And as I've done in the past, I like to share what Jamie Sams says about the clan mothers and how they're related to the moon cycle. And so the August new moon is she who heals. So we could say this energy, if we think about the heart energy, the healing power of the heart, when we're really coming from love, the healing power of love. And so this is also very cool that happens to be this clan mother, she who heals. And so this is the poem that Jamie Sams wrote. Mother, sing me a song that will ease my pain, mend broken bones, bring wholeness again. Catch my babies when they are born, sing my death song, teach me how to mourn. Show me the medicine of healing herbs, the value of spirit I can serve. Mother, heal my heart so that I can see the gifts of yours that can live through me. And if we think about the value of spirit that I can serve, the healing herbs, and all of these things are very Virgo energy. And so this new moon is absolutely tuning into that. And so the color that is associated from the 13 original clan mothers is blue, and the element is water, even though any new moon in the month of August will never be in a water sign or a uh, eh, yeah, will ever be in a water sign because it's always either going to be in Leo or Virgo. So those are fire and air. I mean, fire and earth. Anyway, so this clan mother is the guardian of serving the truth and the children of the earth by being the keeper of the healing arts, mother of all rites of passage, guardian of the mysteries of life and death, and singer of the death song. And this is very much the Virgo energy. It's just so brilliant how she describes this and the healing arts, the rites of passage, the guardian of the mysteries of life and death, singing the death songs. This would be what the priestesses would do when someone would pass in the community. They would also be the midwives for the birth and bringing life in, helping to celebrate the entrance of a new life into the community. She shows us how to see beyond the illusions of life, celebrating each turn in the road as another step that leads to wholeness. It's all about how we return to wholeness. How do we mend the web of life? How do we mend the sacred hoop or the spider web, or a spider woman's web of creation, to return it to wholeness. She is the midwife, the herbalist, the medicine woman, the spirit healer, and teacher of the cycles of the earth walk, which is all the Virgo mysteries. She welcomes new spirits into human bodies, and she teaches the ability to drop the fear of death and how to accept death as the step that leads to a new birth. So this is so beautifully aligned. It's just amazing to consider. Now, this new moon has so many energies that are worth tuning into, but also a few days later, on August 26th, 4 days later, the moon is going to catch up to Mars. And you can see they're here together at 12 degrees of Libra. And this is the star Porama, very close to this. So it's very close to the star Porama, the star of prophecy, and as the moon and Mars meet together in the constellation of the priestess. And so if we think about Porama, it is a name that comes from ancient Rome, and it is an ancient Roman goddess of the future and of prophecy. And so it's known for foresight, discernment, and the ability to process complex information. And this is quite remarkable. And also because I've been sharing that the Mars cycle is connected to the in this phase of the cycle is connected to the tests and trials that Mars goes through in its initiation to before it goes into the underworld. So we could say this would be the seventh labor or test of Hercules, if we look at the seven labor or the 12 labors of Hercules. So this labor was Hercules was told to capture the Cretan bull and bring it back to King Eurystheus. And the bull had been sent to King Minos by Poseidon as a divine favor, but Poseidon was angered because Minos did not properly honor the gift. So at the behest of Poseidon, the bull went on a rampage, wreaking havoc on the island, and that was part of why Hercules was sent to capture the bull and to bring it back. So Hercules first had to locate the bull and then subdue the bull, and then either rode the bull back to mainland Greece or transported it by sea. There's different ways the story is told. And upon arrival, Eurystheus was so terrified of the bull that he hid. And eventually Hercules released the bull to roam freely. So I tune into this story and I'm thinking this really represents the masculine's rampaging and animal nature. And we all have masculine energy within us, regardless of how we identify by gender. We all have that. So was this test about subduing the inner masculine's rampaging animal nature through a test of strength and will, and then setting it free once the fury had been released? Kind of feels that that's the way I want to see it right now, anyway. Might have a different insight. And if we look at the fact that this moon Mars conjunction is the seventh test, and it's with the star Porama in the constellation of the priestess in the season of Libra. It seems to be about discerning the best path forward to fulfill the prophecy or destiny that lives within us and then also serves the greater good. So these are some of the things we could also imagine in terms of it, and you'll probably be able to see that waxing moon passing by Mars on the approaching on the 25th, maybe just past it on the 26th. And let's see, yeah, because it's 7:25 a.m. when the exact conjunction takes place. So it'll be past it on the evening of the 26th, and it will be moving on from there. So if you get a chance, you have clear skies, you want to see that would be pretty cool. So here's some dates to note over the next month as we are remembering that all life is sacred, the Virgo archetypal energy. Jupiter will be with the moon on August 19, very near Sirius. We'll have the Venus Jupiter conjunction on August 11, 12. The morning of the 12th is the most amazing morning to look for that. Done some other videos on that I'll put in the show notes. And then we have the Venus Moon conjunction at the solar plexus chakra gate on the 20th of August, so just 2 days before the new moon. And it's very near the star Procyon or Procyon, as I mentioned earlier, that marks the outer edge of the sacred hoop of stars. And so this feels like a significant Venus Moon conjunction and in a way reclaiming our power to mend the sacred hoop as well as to mend the uh, web, Spiderwoman's web of life. So how are we co-creating with that energy? And then, of course, we have Venus is going to be square Chiron on the 22nd and 23rd. There's going to be and Chiron in Aries and Venus in Cancer. And so they're having their exact square on the 22nd, 23rd, depending on your time zone. And then the new moon at 0 Virgo happening around that time as well. Then Venus is going to enter Leo on August 25th, and Venus will trine Saturn at 0 degrees Aries or close to 0 degrees Aries later. And then I think it might be 1 degree Aries but it's moving back towards that 0 degree mark. And then on the 26th, Venus is going to be opposite Pluto. So that could be a time when we get to see more of the shadow coming forth and face our fears and hopefully transmute and transform them so they're no longer defining us. But now we can, because we faced that fear, we can feel more empowered by what's going on. Mercury is going to trine Chiron and Eris on August 31st. And has picked up speed and is moving forward now, is back at 26 Leo. So this is another opportunity to do that deep healing work, especially in how we perceive our reality, how we communicate what's going on for us, and how we creatively express that energy. And in trying to Chiron and Eris, it could be very healing and helpful. Then Mercury's going to enter Virgo. Well, sorry, on September 1st, Saturn's going to return to Pisces. It's going to re-enter Pisces, 29 degrees Pisces point during its retrograde. And then Mercury on the 2nd is going to enter Virgo. And Mars is going to square Jupiter on the 4th. And Uranus is going to go retrograde on the 6th. So this is a very full first week. And then the total eclipse full moon eclipse on September 7th. So this first week of September is off the charts, full of powerful transformative energies that we can tune into and work with as part of what was initiated at the new moon time. And then on the 13th, the sun will conjunct Mercury, so it won't be visible. Venus and will trine Chiron on the 16th. Mercury opposite Saturn on the 17th, 18th, and then Mercury's going to enter Libra on the 18th. And so it's really moving through Virgo very fast. So if you think about it, entering Virgo on September 2nd, and then 16 days later, it's entering Libra. So it's moving very quickly by this time. And so we've discussed the Virgo energies. And so it's how the mind is going to operate through the Virgo lens in the first week of of September. And then how then it will start operating through the lens of Libra. And we will talk about Libra soon, and probably in October. Um, so stay tuned. And then September 19th will be the sacral chakra Venus moon gate when Venus enters Virgo. And on September 21st, we have the solar eclipse new moon at 29 degrees Virgo opposite Saturn. So essentially, a way to sum this all up is that massive changes are happening. It's moving fast. We may not be able to keep up with it all with our mind. We can try to track it. We could try to keep up with it. But the most important thing to remember and to stay tuned to is that these energies, especially this Virgo new moon, is about how do we honor all life as sacred? How do we honor our own life as sacred? How do we recognize the sacredness within us and all around us? And to support that through our intentions, our ceremonies, our attention to these timings that are happening. So hopefully this has been inspiring, and be sure to check out the show notes for additional videos that might be helpful to give shed further light on what's happening, and wishing everyone a joyous and happy full moon, new moon in Virgo on August 22nd.